Hello, and welcome to Popcorn News, something to watch while you eat popcorn. Do not try to comprehend it all. Nay, just eat the popcorn. From the Jerusalem Post. The Jerusalem Post. Theories of late Rabin conspiracy theorist Barry Chamish never gained traction, by Daniel K. Eisenbud, August 24th, 2016. The main proponent of a conspiracy involving the assassination of former Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin died this week, years after his theories had faded into obscurity. I'm going to say Chamish, I'm probably pronouncing the name wrong. Barry Chamish, a Canadian who moved to Israel in the mid-1970s and wrote several books, but was best known for his 1998 tome, Who Murdered Yitzhak Rabin, was found dead at age 64 in Florida, according to media reports. Okay. And there's Barry, I'm going to say Chamish. And this is one of his books published by Lulu.com. There's others too there. Return of the Giants, black and white version by Barry Chamish. Are the Anakim, or the Rephaim, the giants of the Bible, returning to Israel today? There are only two periods of recorded history when giants were reported in Israel. In biblical days, from the time of the flood to the ascension of King David, and since 1993 in modern Israel. Read what Barry Chamish discovered when he researched the giants and UFOs seen in Israel in modern times. So Barry Chamish, or Barry Chamish, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, has died, and from here on I'll just try and call him Barry, but my thoughts were to recall, I didn't know Barry that well, in fact I really hardly knew him at all, but I read a lot of his writings, and I was on his email list, and we did correspond briefly sometime in the 1990s, and it turns out that his father and my father both had died on the same day, February 22nd, and Barry took that to be a possible sign of some sort of affinity between us, which was nice of him to say that. This is the best eulogy for Barry Chamish that comes to mind. For Whom the Bell Tolls, a poem by John Donne. No man is an island, entire of itself. Each is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less. As well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thine own, or of thine friends were. Each man's death diminishes me, for I am involved in mankind. Therefore, send not to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Barry was a detail person. He was always or mostly focused on Israel and Israeli politics, which is good as far as it goes, but for me, I'm interested in a wider scope. There's also things going on in Pakistan, Malaysia, all over the place, which is, I consider myself to be more of a big picture kind of a person, and I consider Barry was more of a detail-oriented person. This is would be a big picture sort of a person, someone looking at the big picture rather than focusing so much on details. Mark Lombardi, 1951 to 2000, American neo-conceptual artist who specialized in drawings that document alleged financial and political frauds by power brokers and in general, quote, the uses and abuses of power, end quote. Six years before his death, Lombardi switched to link analysis pencil diagrams of crime and conspiracy networks that he would become best known for. In the early 1990s, he began researching the many scandals of the time, including the BCCI scandal, that's Bank of Credit and Commerce International, the Harkin Energy scandal, and the Savings and Loan scandal. The thousands of index cards that he accumulated in the course of this research began to overwhelm his ability to deal with them, and to cope, Mark began assembling them into physical outlines and then into handwritten diagrams. These were intended to be a tool to provide focus to his work, but he, quote, soon decided that this method of combining text and image in a single field really worked for me in other ways as well, end quote. And here you can see one of his drawings, and it's unfortunately it's so small print, but here's Carlos Cardoan, and there's a line going from him to BCCI Miami, Bank of Credit and Commerce International. But you can see that he's trying to get the big picture, that these things are linked in ways that are hard to describe in just a cliche or just a quick soundbite.
13 steps with his loving arms bound to his side, with a smile on his face, that's how my daddy died.